recording, we're good there. And let me go back to Discord. Let me share my screen. Oops. Entire screen. Okay. Awesome. So you guys can see my screen. Let's go here. And let's go on to indices, S&P, full chart. And from here, we'll go on to US30, which is what we care about. So US30 has been in this area of a range. So the first thing that you have to analyze when you look at US30 and look at a range, and let me bring this over here so it could be captured better. The first thing you have to analyze when you're looking at US30 and you're looking at a range is what exactly is the market going to essentially do? So we see that the market from back here has went down to go up. And when it went up this time, it did not create a higher high than the previous time. So we see right here, I'm going to use a path tool or let's say a brush, right? When we see the market back here and we see that it created a higher high, then here it did not create a higher high, it hit an area of resistance, and then here it again hit an area of resistance. So we could see that in those three major areas, 1, 2, 3, there's been major resistance. So then the market breaks down to break up to break down. Once you see that the market has established an area of consolidation, you will essentially trade the differences in that area of consolidation. The difference is basically the support and the resistance used in short words. So you would essentially buy here, sell up here, right? Easier said than done though, easier said than done. So we see that the market hits this area of resistance, then again hits this area of resistance. I'm going to move this resistance up, then comes down to now again hit this area of resistance. Now, it's 9:13 a.m. Eastern time, and we see that the market at 9:30 tried to pull up. I'm sorry, not 9:30 specifically. Let me go on to a shorter time frame. But we see right here, I'm going to zoom into it. We see right here at 8:30, the market pulled up, and then at 9 pulled down. Right at 9:30 it pulled down, and now it's trying to pull up, but it's not having enough power to continue the upwards momentum. So I believe that using basic support and resistance, if we look at where the market's at right now and we see where there could be another area of support, the market would sell off. Meaning, if we use a simple path tool, the market went up, the market went down, the market will probably have a retracement to then come down to this area. If the market has a retracement at that area and we do a short position, right, this will be a 160-point move. If it's extended to this area, where, right here, if it's extended to this area right here where we see all the wicks, right, it would be about a 200-point move. Then what we want to do is grab a Fibonacci from top to bottom, and we see that it will hit 0.50, a perfect retracement level. So right here, I feel confident taking this trade, knowing that if it goes towards the upside, it will essentially have to almost, we'll put it right here at 120, it will have to essentially hit the highest high it's ever created in the last, let's say, week or so. It would have to hit the highest high. I don't think that the market today will have enough power to go and hit that higher high. Also, another thing is that we see that the market's breaking in a downwards direction. I'm going to zoom in and show you guys how. You'll go here to the left-hand corner, and you're going to grab a parallel channel. And you grab this, and you mark it from this area to this area, and then you zoom it down. And as you guys can see, the market's moving in a downwards direction. Even though it's consolidating up and down, when you look at it from a different point of view and you angle your face a little bit, it's moving in a downwards direction. So what I'm going to do here is send out a sell signal. You guys could sell the market. And I'm going to send out a sell signal right now. While you guys sell, I'll be typing in the signal. 575, 475. Okay, I just sent out the signal. And boom. Okay. So we are selling here on US30. I send out the signal to all of you guys. You guys should have sold as soon as I said sell, but it's at the exact price that I'm selling, 45,675. The exact same entry price. You see now I just went down 4 points. So as you guys know, US30 is very volatile. So we will wait on this. Now we are going to go and look at Nas100. Nas100 is having a different atmosphere than US30. Here's what I mean by that. We're going to go on to the 1 hour. And if we compare them side by side, right? We'll zoom this out a little bit. Down here, we're going to insert US30. You see here that side by side, right? Right here, let me go here onto the, this is the 1 hour, this is the 1 minute. We'll go here onto the 1 hour. You see right here side by side that US30, right? You're gonna have to look at my mouse so you guys can see this clearly. Let me see, right here. Let me actually grab a better tool. Demonstration. Perfect. So you guys could easily see this. So right here above, you're going to see little lines, right? And when you see those little lines, you would see that I'm in the exact same time on US30 that I am on Nas100. You're going to see a big break towards the upside with US30, a big break towards the upside with Nas100. But then what is really important to notice here is that US30 comes down, then goes up, and then comes down, and now is looking to go in a downwards direction. Nas100 in the opposite hand goes up and creates a higher high to go down and create an even higher high, right? Now it's coming down, and it looks like Nas100 might essentially create a lower low, right? Because it creates a higher high, a high low, and if it does not create a higher high and creates a lower low, lower than this higher high previously, let me just go to the Nas100. Oops, let me click this. Okay, we're gonna look at it here. The market, I'm gonna re-explain myself. The market created a higher high, high low, high high. If the market does not create a higher high here, we essentially will win with US30. If the market creates here a lower low, right, passing the previous, not the previous higher high, but the second previous higher high, then the market will continue to establish lower lows as it moves to the bottom. So it's very crucial to see what Nas100 does in this specific area. So this is the 1 hour. We're going to move on to the 15 minute. And it's very important to see that now in the 15 minute, you see a different story than what was being told in the 1 hour. Here's the difference. In the 1 hour, you see the market creates a higher high, comes down, and now we're essentially waiting to see what it's going to create. In the 15 minute, though, you have a different story. You have a higher high, a high low, does not create a higher high, comes down to then create it, and now ultimately comes down. Meaning this momentum of shift moving towards the upside is essentially gone. Nas100 now created a lower low down here. Now it's going to most likely create a low high, right? Or a high low, whichever way you want to pronounce that. With that being said, I believe that Nas100 from this area will then shift down to this area where there is massive consolidation. Let me show you where the consolidation is. I'm going to grab this and go here. Look at all this consolidation. Consolidation, consolidation, consolidation. I think it'll come down to this area of consolidation, which if it does, it's about, I grabbed the wrong tool. If it does, it will be about 150 points, right? Or again, it could come down to this area right here. Let me mark it out. It could come down to this area of support right here because there's support, 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 and then future support with with Nas100 coming down. It's about 87 points, 90 points. Doesn't look like a bad trade-off because if we go from the highest to the lowest, it's a 0.50 retracement, which looks pretty accurate. It's the exact same retracement as US30, because if we go here into US30, we see that US30 has the exact same retracement and US30 starting to move down. So with Nas being that high up, I think it would be a wise decision to also sell Nas100 right at where it's at. Yeah, we will do 40, and I believe if it comes down, it'll be 80 plus. So we could put our take profit right here and go with that. So I'm gonna send out a signal for Nas100. You guys take the opportunity to go on your phones, computers, and enter in a sell. So I'm selling Nas100. Okay. Nas100, let me go look at the price. I'm looking at the price in Gates FX. So 23,945, 23,915, 23,865, 23,995. Awesome. I just sent out the signal. And yeah, I'm sending the signal out for free, but essentially starting Friday, I'm not sending out any more free signals. I'll only send out one, but I'm just sending it out for free today. But for all the paying members, just know that this is just for today. Because it's just for today. No reason to explain why it is. Okay, so let's review what we have done so far in the last 15 minutes. We have decided to go on sales for for US30. We decided to go on, I'm getting stuck. 1 second. So let's review. We have gone on sales on US30 based on what the market is showing us, because we see a market essentially coming down, going up, coming down again, going up to creating a higher high. But then the higher high essentially does not create a high low to then create a high high. It actually creates a lower low. To now it's creating a low high, which essentially what we want next is what? A lower low. If it creates a lower low, we will hit take profit. That's the explanation on US30, and I could almost use the exact same explanation on Nas100. Nas100, the market creates a higher high, then comes down, passing this previous higher high, and now what essentially we want from the market, from Nas100, is the market to go up, create the high low, and then come down and create the lower low. So it might go up a little bit. It's still at entry price because I have to put this right here at the entry price. It's still at entry price, so we will see what this does. Now, we're going to move on to Apple. Why are we moving on to Apple specifically? Well, you guys saw that yesterday the iPhone 17 was released. In my opinion, the iPhone 17 is the biggest, piece of shit ever. If we look at the iPhone 17, and it's kind of funny, I'm calling it the biggest piece of shit ever, but I'm going to end up buying it because my iPhone is the iPhone 16 Pro. literally the last generation. This is only a year old and it's having issues. Like it freezes, it's slow. Like I swear Apple does this on purpose whenever they do updates. But they released the iPhone 17. They also released a few other products like their new AirPod 3s that are noise cancellation, and they also do translation for you. So when they hear a different language being told to you, they translate to you what they're saying. So they came out with a few products, right? And the reason I want to see Apple is essentially because they came out with a few products. I want to see how has that affected the stock on Apple. So you know, we're gonna go see that now. So we're gonna go up here, type in Apple, and yeah. Oh boy. Like, imagine you come out with brand new products that are getting ready for pre-sale or pre-order, and your stock goes down this much. You could tell that people don't give a flying fuck about their Apple products anymore because, wow, like look at this. It's ridiculous. Like yesterday they came out with the product, right? We're gonna go to yesterday. Okay, so yesterday this is okay. Let me do this. Go on to the 1 hour. I'll explain this in the 1 hour time zone. Right. Okay. Okay. So yesterday they come out with the products, right? I'm sorry, right here. Yesterday they come out with the products, right? September 9th. And they come out with the products around the afternoon. So 9:30 hits, market. Let me actually go into a lower time frame. I'm sorry for that. All right, so we're right here. So market open, right? And the market essentially just plummets down. Then around 1 p.m. Eastern time, the market goes up. I'm assuming the market went up because they had the big press conference, meaning they had that big meeting where they explained to the audience what is their new product, benefits of their new product, and why is it in your best benefit to buy the product. Then the market comes down when people are like, you know what? This is the same shit as last year and the year prior and the year prior and the year prior and the year prior. Because there's nothing new. Breaks down hard to then consolidate the last, let's say, X amount of minutes, 1 hour. This is 15 minutes. Yeah, the 1 hour before the session closes. Then this morning opens up even worse. So, I'm assuming people just don't care about Apple. I think Apple has no innovation, right? Because like this I was gonna say MacBook. This computer is an Alienware. This monitor is an MSI high performance gaming monitor. So besides my iPhone and laptop, I don't use Apple products. Like I think that, and this iPad, I don't even use it. If I try to turn it on, it wouldn't even turn on. So yeah, I think Apple has to innovate themselves. And it doesn't surprise me that the market also goes down because I've always talked about this on my live sessions. Look at the major gap, right? On Wednesday, September the 3rd, this gap was going to be filled and it got filled. So let's see on how US30 is doing. US30 is moving down very nicely. It got very close to hitting take profit. No, I'm sorry, it did not get close. I couldn't see the wick because of my drawing. So it's about 20 points from hitting take profit. Nas100 is still moving towards the upside. Let's go into the shorter time frame so I can see this. Okay, it's starting to reject here with this long wick. Let's see what this following candle does. This candle has another 9 minutes. So we'll keep examining it. And US30 is right here. Nice candle to the downside. What we want is for it to obviously surpass this area of support. I'll draw the support right here. We'll draw this in a nice red because if it surpasses the red zone, we are in the green zone. But yeah, this is what it's doing. But yeah, Apple does not surprise me whatsoever. I mean, what a shitty fucking, just what a shitty fucking thing. When we look at Meta came down. We look at BlackRock continues to go up. For those of you guys who do not know what BlackRock is essentially an entity. It's a company that acquires other companies. So think about like you have an LLC and your LLC owns other LLCs, right? Meaning it owns portions of those LLCs. So BlackRock is a huge investor in Amazon, Apple, Nvidia. Almost every large company you could think of, BlackRock owns a piece of it, especially in the real estate market, which a lot of people are saying, well, these people are just going to monopolize everything because they keep taking over everything. That's what BlackRock is essentially. So it's a stock that I don't understand why people who trade indices don't look at it, because BlackRock is essentially an index in itself because it owns portions of other companies. We're gonna go here to Google, right? BlackRock. What do they own? Right? And you're gonna see here in the Google description, BlackRock does not directly own most of its companies it invests in. Rather, it manages assets and holds stakes in massive numbers of companies, including Microsoft, Apple, and Amazon, and on behalf of its clients like pension funds and individuals through a variety of investment funds such as iShares, ETFs, right? So like I said, it owns a shit ton of companies. It's an index within itself, but it does not directly own them. It just owns the stock of them, right? So that's what I wanted to say with that. Nas100 is still at its entry price. I think Nas100 is going to go down, just not right now. I think in an hour from now, we'll see the downwards direction. US30 just hit take profit, 100 points in profit we just made. So let's get it. Let me go type that in, that we made 100 points. And that was a very, very clean trade. You guys saw this trade being explained and being done. All right. My little golden doodle just got here. Adora the doodle. With me? With me? This way. Come here. No, not you, Jethro. Foos. So this is my German Shepherd, if you guys could see him on the camera. And then the little mini golden. What's up? We just hit take profit. I'm working hard to get you the backyard you deserve. All right. Mark, go back to your thing. Adora, let me continue working. All right, let me write down that we hit take profit on the signals channels, guys, and we'll continue the live trading session. Just give me 1 minute. Good dogs. All right. Dope. Okay, awesome. So US30 now is 120 points, I would say, in profit. 120 points. Nas100, like I said, I think that it will go down in the next hour. My reasoning for that is because sometimes indices lag. The definition of lag is basically when something is not moving as quickly or not alternating or reflecting an image as quickly as it should. So with that being said, I think that US30 moved down, correct? Then after an hour, right? Mark my words, after an hour at 11:35 p.m. Eastern time, you would see Nas100 move down. Mark, no, don't bark. Mark, you would see it move down. And my dog barks. Adora belongs to Jessica, not to me. So she's not trained. So yeah, you would see at 11:30 the market move down with Nas100. So we'll continue to wait on that. Something else that I want to see, there's nothing really necessary for me to see besides the VIX. We want the VIX to go towards the upwards direction. This is consolidating. It's moving down a little bit, which is what we don't want. We want it to move up. S&P 500. this is good. Let me actually talk about this. This is really good. Okay. So with S&P 500, right? S&P 500, a small description of it. It's basically an index that holds 500 companies, specifically tech companies. US30 holds 30 companies, Nas100, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said specifically tech companies. Nas100 is the one that specifically owns tech companies. S&P 500 owns tech companies, but also owns pharmaceutical, electricity, real estate, stuff like that. So back to my description of S&P 500. If S&P 500 right now, right, surpasses is this area, mark this yellow, surpasses this area of support and comes down to this area, I think Nas100 for sure will come down and hit take profit. So we want to see this come down, and we want to see it hit this area of resistance, of previous resistance. I apologize. Resistance here, resistance, and now this could be new support. So that's what we want to see with this. We see that the market went up. We'll grab a path tool. We see that the market went up, came down, higher high, then higher low, failed to create a higher high, which ultimately now the goal would be for it to create a lower low. That would be essentially the goal. So we will see this continue to move. US30 is moving very, very nicely. I think this is where US30 would stop the movement for a little bit. And when US30 stops the movement for a little bit, then Nas100 will move, because we see it here. You know, it still hasn't moved yet, but it's creating nice wicks that are showing that buyers are, you know, they're not in control as much. It shows that buyers here are losing momentum with these nice wicks. So we still have 1 minute and 30 seconds on this 10-minute candle on Nas100. We are going to wait for that. And again, we have 1 minute and 25 seconds on this 10-minute time frame on S&P 500. We would love if it closes down here. Like, it's already breaking it, but we want it to close. There's a big difference in something that I see a lot of people do and fail at, is that they think because the market breaks the support with a wick, meaning it breaks and then leaves a wick, that it has fully broken through. It has not. When a market breaks past support or past resistance, you want to see the market with a full candle. You don't want to see it with just it wicking it. Because if that's the reason, or if that's the conclusion you get to, you're just ultimately going to end up with this right here, where the market really didn't break support there. It just wicked it, right? And then came back up. So if you were selling here because you thought that the market broke support, then ultimately you're going to keep losing and losing, because a wick is not a good identification of an area being broken. It just shows that the area was surpassed, but it does not mean that it was, it shows that the area could be passed, but it does not mean that it was surpassed. So that's very important to see. And that's why I said right here, I want to see this candle form underneath this area of support, not with wicks, but with a full body. Very important. As you guys can see, it did not do that. It left the wick. So what does that show us? It's still a positive sign, but what does that show us? It shows us that it was passed, and now it could be surpassed, meaning it passed through, and with the following candle, it could be surpassed. The reason that it's good in this scenario, because I'm sure one of you guys has the question right now, well, Louis, why would you say that it's good if these candles had the exact same thing happen to them? The reason it's good is because we're looking at the direction of where the market is going. So for example, we see a path tool, the higher high right here. Then the market comes down, right? And then the market goes up. But when the market went up, it did not create a higher high. So the market has two options: come down to hit this area and hit basically support, and then come back up and start consolidating, or come down to this area and hit support come back up, grab this, come back up to hit a new area of resistance to then come back down. So that's why it's good to see this, because the market did not create a higher high. So that's essentially what I would want to see with this, because I'm obviously selling the market. But yeah, and even if it comes down and consolidates, I'm happy with that. I don't have to see the market break down all the way, because with S&P 500, it's from here to here, it's only 10 points, right? In the last 40 minutes. In the last 40 minutes, 10 points. Now look at the difference with US 30. The last 40 minutes with US 30. Boom, boom. So the last 30 minutes with US 30, not even 40, 157 points. So you don't need S&P 500 to break down 100 points to see something else break down tremendously. If S&P breaks down another 10 points, 20 points, then you would see Nas100 clearly breaking down 80 plus points and US 30 breaking down 200, 300 plus points. So back to US 30, I did tell you guys when it hit this area, it would not surprise me if it stops its downwards movement. I believe that now it's going to come up to then come back down again, meaning it surpassed the red zone and put us in the green zone. But now if it reaches the red zone one more time, which is going to be, in my opinion, new resistance, then it will come back down and it will hopefully surpass this area of support that I have marked here. And if it does surpass that area, we'll hit 200 points for the day on US 30. On Nas100, on the other hand, this is something that, again, I said we will see action from this around 11:30. 11:30, 12 is when we would see some action. If we don't see action in that time, then we will definitely see some action around 2 p.m. Eastern time. So this is something that we just have to hold because there's not a lot of movement. S&P 500, we're not taking a trade in it, but it's still nice to see what it does. Because if it breaks down below, it's a good indication that Nas100 is going to break down below and US 30 is going to continue to move to the downside. So yeah, pretty good trading session. With US 30, to give you guys a conclusion of the whole trading session, if you just joined, we hit 100 plus points with US 30. US 30 still has a little bit of a way to go to hit take profit 2, which will be 200 points. Nas100 is still on entry, so if you just joined the live session, you should go take this trade with Nas100. We will really see this move around 11:30, 12, if not 2 p.m. S&P 500, we did not take a trade on, but we're just looking at it to see if it breaks to the downside. And everything else that I talked about was Apple, BlackRock, and essentially what BlackRock is, how Apple is performing really bad with their new pre-release and new products. But ultimately, that's a small description if you just joined. I'm going to be doing another live session tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So I appreciate you guys for joining this live session. I think it was a really good live session. I'm going to be sending this to my editor so he could edit the live session and we could post it up on YouTube so you guys could go back and look at anything that you might have a question on. If you do have any questions, you could DM me, or you could go to the help desk and we will answer your questions there. With that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing day.